Hey guys, today I am going to read more Buddy. Okay, that was strange. Okay guys, replay. Okay, we are going to read Buddy, More Puppy Place. And you see, I have changed the beach into a cute little adorable puppy playing with a tennis ball. And you know why? We have been reading some Puppy Place books. That's why. I have 4 more books, guys. Buddy and Angel and Roxy and Spirit. So guys, let's get started. And after Buddy, you know who is going next. This little guy on the screen, he's a golden retriever. And so guys, Spirit is kind of like him. So we are going to read Spirit next. So let's get started. 3 chapters or 2. Chapter 1. Lizzie Peterson pushed open the door of Caring Paws, the animal shelter where she volunteered. Lizzie, it's already 3 o'clock. The director, Miss Dobbins, looked tired and distracted. We have been so busy here today. Actually, it's only 2:30, Lizzie said. I'm a little early. She wrote her name on the volunteer sign-in sheet and checked the whiteboard for her new names. Who's Skipper? She asked when she saw the name written in red, the color for dogs. And what does that mean? Skipper and company. It was always exciting when a new animal arrived at the shelter. Maybe one of the new dogs would be at her family next for fostering. Lizzie had been volunteering at Caring Paws for 2 months. She came every Saturday afternoon. She loved being around all the dogs and cats, and the people who cared for them. Caring Paws was a place for animals that needed homes. Some were strays who had been found on country roads or in parking lots. The shelter staff tried hard to find their owners. Other cats or dogs had been abandoned, left near a farm or on someone's porch. And some were beloved pets that the owners had to give up. Miss Dobbin did her best to help find the perfect home for every animal that came to Caring Paws. But while they waited to find their forever families, the animals needed exercise, love, and care. That was there. The volunteer came in. There was always work to do. Answering the phone, cleaning cages, feeding animals, giving them baths. Because Lizzie was the only in the 4th grade. She didn't do any of those jobs. She got to do the best job of all, exercising the dogs. Lizzie was crazy about dogs. She loved to play with them, read about them, make up stories about them. She and her younger brother, Charles, wanted their own dog more than anything, and they had been bugging their parents about it for years. Lizzie, Dad loved dogs too, but Mom was more like a cat person. So far, both parents agreed that the family was not ready for a full-time dog. That was partly because of Lizzie's other brother, the Bean. His real name was Adam, but nobody ever called him that. He was just a toddler, and keeping him out of trouble, took up that the bean loved dogs too. He loved them so much that he liked to pretend he was one. He crawled around during meal times, barked at visitors, and played with dog toys more than kid toys. The bean is enough dog for now, Mom always said. She liked to point out the bean, did not she'd fur all over the place, make messes, or chew up their shoes the way a real dog would. For now, Lizzie and Charles had to be happy with part-time puppies. The Petersons had become a foster family, taking care of puppies until the perfect home would be found for each one. So far, they had fostered 4 different puppies. Goldie, the first puppy, was a happy golden retriever who had belonged to a family whose house had burned down. Mr. Peterson was a fireman, and he brought her home after putting out the fire. Goldie ended up living next door with Sammy, Charles' best friend. She was a perfect pal for Sammy's older dog, Rufus. The next puppy was Snowball, a fluffy little West Highland white terrier. He had a lot of energy and a big, big personality. The Petersons found Snowball an excellent home with a nice lady named Mrs. Peabody. Shadow, the serious black lab puppy, came next with help from Maria, her new best friend. Lizzie found him a home with a family that would train him to be a guide dog for a blind person. Then there was Rascal, the wild child. That rhymes. He was an energetic Jack Russell Terrier who would not learn to behave well with a regular family in a regular house. Enough to live with a regular family in a regular house. Rascal had ended up living at a riding stable where he didn't need to have indoor manners. It was the perfect home for a rascally dog. Lizzie Charles the Bean had loved every one of those puppies. They had hoped and wished that they would be able to keep each one themselves, but they knew that the puppies had found just the right homes, and that was the most important thing. It had been quite a while since the Petersons had fostered a puppy. That was why Lizzie had started volunteering at Caring Paws. In the first place, she missed being around dogs. Now at the shelter, Lizzie could hardly wait to meet the newest dog, Skipper. Is Skipper a boy or a girl? She asked Miss Dobbins. Miss Dobbins paused. She's a girl, she answered after a moment. And here's the thing. We are so full right now that I just got 2 dogs doubled in Kennel 5. We have more than a dozen dogs looking for homes. There is just no more room here. And Skipper really needs more space to be comfortable. We need a foster family for her. Maybe my family can take care of her, Lizzie suggested. Is Skipper a puppy? Well, no, said Miss Dobbins. But it doesn't matter, Lizzie interrupted. If she needs a home and there's no room here, I'm sure we can take care of her for a while. I'll just have to convince my mom. She's used to fostering puppies, so talking her into a dog should be a breeze. It's coming. As they were talking, Miss Dobbins was leading the way down to the hall, to the dog room. She and Lizzie walked past the exam room where a vet checked out every animal that came into the shelter. They passed the tub room, the scene of many soapy hair messes, and then there were the 2 cat rooms. Lizzie peeked in. She could see all kinds of cats and kittens. They were napping and climbing and cleaning themselves. As they approached the dog room, Lizzie could hear dogs barking. It was funny sometimes that only one dog was barking in the room, but other times all the dogs started barking at once, as if they were kids in the classroom yelling, "Call on me! Call on me!" Mrs. Dobbins pushed open the door to the dog room. Inside there were 10 kennels made of metal fencing. There were 10 kennels made with metal fencing that stretched from the floor to the ceiling. Each ceiling had a comfy bed. Each kennel had a comfy bed. A sign on the outside with the dog's name and directions about feeding and walking. Each kennel also had a doggy door that could open to a fenced area outdoors, so the dogs could get outside on their own, where there wasn't a volunteer walk them. The room was warm and bright, and there were hand-painted number signs for each kennel. Lizzie knew that animal shelters could be sad places, and she was glad that Caring Paws always seemed cheerful and homey. Miss Dobbins pointed at the kennel number 1 on the cage nearest the door. "That's Skipper," she said. "And now you know what and companion means." There in the kennel was a brown and tan dog with silky soft coat. Her big cocoa brown eyes were shiny and then had ears that stood straight up. Right now they were pointed toward the door, as if Skipper had radar. But Skipper didn't jump to her feet the way most dogs did when you came into the kennels. She just stayed where she was, looking up at Mrs. Dobbin. Skipper wondered who the new person was. Could she trust her? Should she stand up and show off her treasures? She decided it was safe. When Skipper moved, Lizzie gasped. "Oh my!" she said when she saw that she was curled up in the curve of Skipper's belly. 3 puppies. 3 tiny, adorable brown and tan puppies. And they were just beginning to squirm themselves awake. 2 of them are Buddy's sisters, and 1 of them is Buddy. For a minute. Chapter 2. I forgot. Wait, guys. For a minute, Lizzie couldn't say anything. She just stared. "Oh," she finally sighed. "They are so cute." The puppies had fluffy, soft-looking coats. 2 of them were mostly brown, with tan markings. 1 of those puppies was darker brown and 1 was lighter. They were both larger than the 3rd puppy, who was mostly tan with brown markings. All 3 looked sleepy and cozy, curled up near their mother. 1 of them yawned as Lizzie was watching. and she could see its curly pink tongue. Another one got up and tottered away from its mother on unsteady legs. Its tiny tail stuck straight up in the air. Lizzie knew her brother Charles would love these puppies. The two bigger ones are girls, said Miss Dobbins, and the little tan one is a boy. See the heart on his chest? Just then the pup climbed over of his sisters, and Lizzie spotted the white marking Miss Dobbins was talking about. They look like they might be part German Shepherd, she said, or maybe Chow, whatever that is. Lizzie had a Dog Breeds of the World poster in her room at her home. She loved to study and learn every kind of dog. Usually, she could tell right away what breed of dog she was looking at, but Skipper and her puppies looked like they were a mix of breeds, all American dogs. Her poster called them mutts. Her dad always said, he said mixed breeds dogs were the best. Miss Dobbins agreed. She had told Lizzie that mutts often combine the best things about each good-looking, healthy, and strong. For example, if a dog's father was a Labrador retriever and its mother was a collie, you might get a puppy that was great with kids and liked to fetch balls like a lab. Guys, I read a book that told what mix Buddy was. He's a golden retriever mixed with a beagle and something else. I think it was golden retriever, beagle, and I don't know. Collie. We haven't quite figured out what mix these puppies are, said Miss Dobbins. They may have some golden retriever in them. Ding ding. They're so friendly and sweet. What are their names? Asked Lizzie. Miss Dobbins shrugged. It's been so crazy around here. I haven't had a chance to name the puppies, she answered. Julie named the mother Skipper, but we figured that whoever adopts the pups should get to name them. Lizzie liked Julie. She was a senior in high school who worked at the shelter. Lizzie thought Julie was the coolest. She seemed to know everything about dogs and cats. Plus, she was always dogs in class, always coming up with great ideas for making the shelter work better, like the colored code wipe-off board. Lizzie stared at Skipper's family. The puppies were making soft whimpering and snuffling noises as they pushed toward their mother, getting ready to nurse. How old are they? She asked. We think they're 4 or 5 weeks old, she said Miss Dobbins. They have their eyes open and they can walk and even run around a bit, so they aren't too young. But they still need their mother. They're just about ready to start eating solid food, but they're not quite ready to be on their own. So that means Lizzie was just beginning to figure out. Miss Dobbins nodded. I think you get the picture, she said. Whoever fosters Skipper takes the puppies too. The whole litter, it's a package deal, and not one that everybody is ready for. It's a lot of responsibility. I know, Lizzie said. Charles and I have taken care of lots of puppies. One puppy at a time is plenty. 3 puppies and a mom. Wow! Not only that, said Miss Dobbins, but there's a time commitment too. If someone takes these puppies, they're going to have to keep them until they're old enough to go to their real homes. Like until they're 8 weeks old, Lizzie asked. She had learned a lot about puppies. That's right, said Miss Dobbins. Lizzie nodded. It wouldn't be easy to talk her mother into fostering Skipper and the puppies, especially for 3 or 4 whole weeks. But Lizzie was sure that the Petersons were the perfect family to take them in. She had already fallen completely in love with the puppies, and she knew she and her family could give them all the care they needed. Where did they come from? She asked. Miss Dobbins sighed. A policeman found them, living in the back of a supermarket near the dumpsters. Skipper had made a nest out of old cardboard boxes, and she was getting by on whatever food she could find in the garbage. She did her best, but it wasn't easy taking care of her pups under those conditions. Lizzie felt tears spring into her eyes just thinking about it. But that's so sad, she said. She hated to imagine how a sweet dog like Skipper. Skipper's puppies are pretty wonderful too, said Miss Dobbins. When the policeman found the puppies, Skipper was off finding food. The 2 girl puppies were huddled around the little puppy, keeping him warm. They are the best kind of big sisters. The whole time Lizzie and Miss Dobbins had been talking, a dog been barking like crazy. Now suddenly all the rest of the dogs decided they needed to bark too. The noise filled the dog room, bouncing off the concrete floor and walls. The only dog who wasn't barking was Skipper. She was nuzzling her puppies while they nursed. She seemed calm and content. Even in the midst of that noise, Miss Dobbins smiled at Lizzie and shook her head. "What's a racket?" she yelled. "Let's go back to the office and talk, where we can hear each other." Lizzie took one more look at Skipper and her puppies. She felt her throat close up as if she were about to cry. Skipper had done everything she could do to take care of her family. She deserved a break. She deserved some help. "Can I call my mom?" Lizzie asked as soon as she and Miss Dobbins walked into the office. A dog, and Miss Dobbins walked into the office. A dog and 3 puppies. This was a big deal. Skipper needed the Petersons' help. Lizzie needed to talk to her family. Miss Dobbins nodded toward the phone. "Go right ahead," she said. Lizzie dialed her number and crossed her fingers while the phone rang. When her mother said hello, Lizzie said, "Mom, it's me, Lizzie. You will never believe it, but there's a dog here I think we should foster." "A dog?" her mom asked. "Not a puppy." "Well," said Lizzie, "can you come down here and bring Dad and Charles and the Bean too? I think it's time for the Petersons' powwow." Chapter 3. So guys, I am going to stop right here. And I'm going to read more after this video. Like when I upload it. I just need a little break. And then I will put on my intro maybe on